Hi everyone, it's Margo here, and today I'm going to be talking about my resources to prepare for PRES 3 second attempt. As you know, I did PRES 3 last year in October and I unfortunately failed that exam. I have a video about preparing for PRES 3, about the academy that I used last time, and overall about my experience of doing the exam. This one will be about my second attempt, which was this year in August, and I successfully passed it, which I'm just so happy about, and I still cannot quite believe it. It's been 2 months. It still feels like an absolute dream to me, and I know that many of you have been asking, what did I do differently this time? How did I prepare differently for my second attempt that allowed me to pass? And this video is not going to be very long, I believe. I don't know, we'll see, because to be completely honest with you, I did not do as so much differently this time in terms of prep materials as I did last time. I mostly used all the same stuff I used last time. So if you go over and watch a video, my resources for PRES 3, the one that I published last year, this is all that I used last time, and I kept using it to prepare for my second attempt. This video is going to be an overview about the academy that I used to prepare for my second attempt and some additional sources that I have discovered during preparation time. It's not that much, you'll see. It's basically literally just a couple of YouTube channels and a website, and then the main thing is the academy that I joined, which was something that I debated doing it or not for a long time, and then once I joined it and once I did the course, I was like, I cannot believe I considered not to do it. It was so helpful. I think this is that last drop that filled the cup and allowed me to pass this time. I have my notes on my phone. I'm just gonna follow. So first of all, I want to mention 2 YouTube channels that I used this time around to prepare. The first one called Medical Education for Visual Learners, which is just this channel that has videos on different diseases and different also physiology, anatomy, lots of different subjects. I did not obviously watch all of them. I only watched the relevant content. Every day I had a certain amount of topics that I wanted to cover, and depending on the topic, I saw if I have any relevant content on the channel, and if I did, I tried to watch all the videos that are covering a certain topic. And the next one is JJ Medicine, which is very similar to the previous one. It has basically videos over multiple different medical conditions, medical examinations, all of this stuff. And another source that I wanted to mention is an HSU website. Actually, there is a page there called Health A to Z, which basically is like all medical conditions in alphabetical order. And when you click on it, you can get a quick overview of the condition and sometimes some pictures. And the pictures is exactly what I used actually. I went over there for dermatology pictures because I thought that maybe, what's the better source for an exam to take pictures from for dermatology section than HSU website, like their official website. So I took all the pictures that I found. I literally created a whole workbook for myself with all the pictures and the conditions and everything, like explain how to treat them, how to identify them. So I highly recommend you to check out HSE official website for dermatology and other conditions as well. Also, as you know, in OSCE part, you can have a station where you have to explain a certain medical procedure to a patient. And to do that, what I found really helpful is to look up some patient pamphlets about different things. For example, like a colonoscopy, there can be a station where you have to explain a patient colonoscopy procedure that he is about to undergo and the complications of that procedure, and to gain the consent for that procedure. And the best source to prepare for this type of OSCE stations is actually look up pamphlets for different procedures that the patient can have in hospitals here in Ireland or anywhere else in the world really. But I use the HSE website because that just makes more sense since it's an Irish exam. And I read through all of the procedures that can be done if they had a pamphlet on it or not. And I read all the pamphlets, I downloaded them. I think I still have them somewhere in my folders on my computer. And I just read through them. The information there is put in very simple language, exactly the way that you should deliver it to the patient in your OSCE station. So I found it extremely helpful to get this to learn how to explain complicated things. And now I know that you've been waiting for this probably more than everything else, is my quick review of Plab Coach Academy. If you know, last year I took Dr. Mohammed's academy. I believe it's called Dr. Plab. I have a full video just about that academy on my channel, about the downsides and the things that I found really nice and helpful and my overall thoughts. And this video has been a bit hard to make because I in no way wanted to discourage anyone from purchasing that academy. But now looking back, like, I don't regret buying it. I want to make this very clear. But if I could go back, I think I would purchase both of the academies, Dr. Plab and Plab Coach, at the same time while I was preparing for my first attempt, because I feel like this year, after I purchased Plab Coach and did the academy, I felt so much more prepared. I felt so much more confident. So without further ado, let's talk about Plab Coach Academy. So the academy consists of 5 days of learning, 2 days online for data interpretation with Dr. Karam Singh. He's a doctor from UK, the same as Dr. Mohammed from Dr. Plab Academy. He's also practicing in UK. And these 2 days, you're just tuning in for online sessions from, I believe it was from 9 to 5, so very manageable. It was only on the weekend, so it was really like, it allowed everyone who has a 9 to 5 job during the week to still join in and have all the prep material. They do send a lot of prep materials over to us. It's basically an old course, like from a year ago, something like that, recorded, so you can kind of watch the entirety of data interpretation, because it doesn't really get changed that much. Like the video that I watched of the previous data interpretation course ran a year ago was almost identical to the one that we conducted on my course time, but I think it was still beneficial, like just to get all the concepts solidified and everything. And then they also send us a bunch of other like reading materials about different aspects of data interpretation part of the exam. The second thing is 3-day OSCE prep course offline, and that is the thing, that is the reason why I purchased the course of Dr. Karam, because I knew that I need a hands-on experience with mannequins. My biggest insecurity ever in medicine is that I never worked in a real hospital, and I have never practiced almost anything in either real people or mannequins. So I knew that to get myself to that level, to pass PRES 3, I need some sort of a practical hands-on experience, and that academy allowed that, I would say, as good as it can be for this type of exam. So basically Dr. Karam came over from UK to Dublin, and he ran a 3-day course. We were doing it from 9 to 5, something like that, in a hotel in the city center of Dublin. And he brought over so many materials, all kinds of mannequins you can imagine, like to see inside an ear, and the mannequin for a gynae exam, and the mannequin for different emergency situations, for CPR. It was so interactive. I loved the offline part of that course. I would do it all over again just for fun, to be honest. I think the best thing about it was that because it was in a hotel, Dr. Karam said that we are welcome to stay after the course is done, like at 5 p.m. and we can practice whatever we want. He left all the materials overnight, so he said if you want you can stay overnight in that conference room and just practice whatever you want, or come in the morning, like earlier before the start, and practice. And it was just so good, and it allowed me to have my own time and to study at my own pace. And there weren't that many people there. I think we were about 20 of us overall there. And I felt like everyone had equal opportunity to practice and to interact. And also we interacted with each other to practice stations where one was, for example, playing doctor and while I was playing patient. And I think that also greatly benefited all of us. And even on exam day, when I met some of the people that I did that course with, I felt so much more at ease, and I felt so much less stressed because I just saw familiar faces, and I felt like, well, yeah, we're in this together and we're gonna get through this. It's not It's not the end of the world. It's something that I did not experience, unfortunately, last year because Dr. Mohammed's course was completely online, and majority of people had their cameras off, which is not, of course, I'm not blaming them. My camera was off as well. I prefer it that way. I feel better like that. So that offline experience gave me confidence, and it gave me real life practice that I've been searching for so long to get me to that passing rate. Something else that I wanted to mention about the Academy: you cannot really purchase OSCE part separately from data interpretation. The Academy costs £500, and that includes all 5 days, 3 days OSCE and 2 days data interpretation online. So you cannot just purchase part of it, as at least for now. I'm not sure, maybe in the future it will be possible. I, for one, think that it should be possible because the price is quite, like, for some people it might be quite expensive, and I think that's why I didn't purchase it last year, because it was just not in my budget. Maybe if I could purchase separately the OSCE part, I would like kind of find the money for it. So that is something that you need to make sure you understand, because for example, Dr. Mohammed's Academy, in that case, you can purchase that interpretation online course separately from practical skills online course, which was, I think, helped a lot of people to kind of like manage their money better. For the downsides, okay, so I think it's fair if I mention some downsides that I noticed about Dr. Karam's Academy, Plab Coach, because, you know, like, nothing is perfect. I did enjoy it more than Dr. Mohammed's last year, I'm not gonna lie. I might be a little bit partial because I passed the exam now and I didn't pass last year, which I, again, don't blame anyone for apart from myself. It's only my responsibility to prepare for this exam. But that the thing that I wanted to mention that maybe is not very good about Plab Coach Academy is that they really didn't have a structure that I crave as a person who likes everything to be from A to Z structured, one after the other. Everything is just going in like flow. They didn't really have that. The data interpretation part felt a bit rushed, and also felt like we were jumping from one thing to another, and then we were discussing something completely else 10 minutes later. Also the OSCE part, we were kind of like also jumping between different skills that were not necessarily interconnected. So it felt like a bit of a chaos, like organized, semi-organized chaos, but still a little bit chaotic. That is it. I don't think I have anything else to say about the Academy. I highly recommend, if you think that your practical skills need brushing, maybe you have been out of the hospital for many years, or maybe you have never practiced or have never been in the hospital like me, and you feel like you need that hands-on experience, I would highly recommend to purchase this Academy. Of course, I will link all of the materials that I mentioned in this video down below, and you can check it out for yourselves and create the best study plan for you. And lastly, I wanted to discuss a topic that is a little bit controversial, and I was debating whether to include it or not, because it's not a tip for an exam. I cannot call it a tip, I cannot call it a resource. All I can call it is a suggestion, something to think about. So as you know, PRES 3 exam is historically held in different cities around Ireland. It was held in Galway at some point, it was held in Dublin, it was held in Cork, it was held in Limerick. Last year, as you know if you researched it, we had 2 exams, one in Limerick and one in Cork. I booked mine for Limerick, and that was my decision because the Limerick date was further away and I felt like I need more time to prepare. And I feel like, I guess I'll still stand by that decision, even though I turned out not to be a good one. I felt that time in Limerick, and this year there were the same cities offered, Limerick and Cork, and I booked mine in Cork this time. For the reasons that I hope you'll understand, before PRES 3 we do sign a non-disclosure agreement, so I cannot really share the reason why Limerick exam was a very traumatic experience for me, and I don't think I'll ever recover from moral damage that this exam and people that were running it gave me that day. And unfortunately, from what I heard from this year, nothing changed dramatically or at all, and it saddens me a lot, but I cannot really speak about it here on YouTube. It's not something that I can discuss because of that non-disclosure agreement, so I'm not gonna get into that. Just advice from me, a suggestion. If you have a choice, if you really have a choice, if that's something within your capacity, book pork. Do not book limerick if you can help it. I leave it up to you, and with that, I'm gonna leave you here. Please comment down below about any questions you have that I can discuss and I can talk about, and I will be happy to answer you. And please put a like if it's not too much to ask, and subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more about my journey as a doctor in Ireland. Bye guys!